Hi, I'm Dale Hungerford with Healing Frequencies Music, and this is take two on the video uh, about choosing healing music. The first video I forgot to press on the Zoom recording for musicians' original sound, which meant the sound got blurred out when I was playing on the keyboard. Let me see if adding this light will help. Well, maybe it will and maybe it won't. It'll help me be able to see my music. Okay. A lot of people come to me asking me, how do I choose healing music? What frequencies work the best for, and they'll name something. During the Holistic Wellness Weekend, I did a session on how to choose healing music. And I'm going to give a small amount of that presentation here and put it up on the YouTube channel because I feel it really answers a lot of questions that people ask all the time. And if you're interested in getting the rest of the teaching and have access to the 16 other teachings that we did at the Holistic Wellness Weekend, there will be a link below for you to purchase that series of teachings. So without further ado, I'm going to do some demonstration on the piano, just like I did at the Holistic Wellness Weekend, where I played a variety of music so that you could think about it, ponder on it, check your emotions. Listening to music is a very emotional experience. We all have that favorite song that we like to listen to, and generally that is attached to a specific event where we had a specific emotion about that particular piece of music. I know growing up, my dad used to love listening to Groffe's The Grand Canyon Suite. And so every time I hear that, I'm reminded of my dad listening to it and watching the joy on his face. So that is going to have a very different meaning to me than it would to you. All music is connected to our life experiences most of the time, unless you're hearing something for the first time that's not something that you're used to hearing. Now, the emotions could go either way, depending on whether your system is ready to hear that music or not. And you may not know the difference. I do talk in a couple of blog posts and some teachings about negative reactions to healing music. Well, that can happen as well if your system isn't ready to go into a deeper process of something. Then you might have a negative reaction to that music on that day. Let's say you're dealing with a trauma in your life and a certain healing song comes on and you're just like, oh, I can't do this. Again, that's another instance of that day your system doesn't want the music. But don't take it as that song isn't any good. So keep that in mind as you listen to music. The first thing to think about as well is vocal music and instrumental music are different. With vocal music, it has lyrics. You know the intention of the song by listening to the lyrics. You can choose if you want to pair your intent or if you want to entangle, that means your intent plus the words, entangle them together and create an energy using the lyrics. So I highly encourage you that before you listen to songs with lyrics, read the lyrics, see what they really mean, and determine if you want to partner with that music. Instrumental music, you're going to basically know what's going on how it feels. And then you can take that music. I feel real joy listening to this music. Therefore, I'm going to take my intent of joy, pair it with the joy that I feel in the music, put them together. You want to entangle them so that you get a desired result of more joy. It's just a power booster. Intent is so important in this process. Okay, all of that being said, we're going to do the demonstrations now. I have picked two pieces of music that you all probably recognize. And as you are listening, write what you're sensing, feeling, hearing, and seeing. Just jot down a couple notes, no pun intended, on what's going through your mind as you're hearing this music. Here is the first song. okay, minus the wrong note in there, you probably recognize that as Amazing Grace. Your mind immediately goes back to where you first learned or heard that song, or an experience you had with that song. At the Holistic Festival, several people actually started singing in harmony as I was playing this song on the keyboard, and it was beautiful. Most everybody had very positive feelings about this particular piece of music. And generally, it's going to come out of a previous experience with that piece of music. If you were hearing it for the first time, then your responses might be different because it's new. If it was your first time hearing it, then consider how that made you feel, especially now knowing that what its title is. Go look up the words to Amazing Grace and see if those lyrics fit with what you felt, especially if you don't know the song. Okay, this next one is very different. Only going to play the first part of it. And again, listen, see, sense, hear, and feel. Pay attention to your emotional state as you're listening to the music. And then write what's going through your head. Okay, here goes. We'll stop there. Most of you probably have heard that. It's the United States national anthem. If you're not from the United States, it may seem familiar, and you may have guessed of what it is. Here's the interesting part. At the Holistic Festival, several people actually, as soon as I started playing it, stood up and did this. Why would they do that? Because they are connecting that music with an event. It's honoring the flag of the United States. And if you go and read about the history of the song, that will tell you one of the reasons it was chosen as the national anthem. Interestingly enough, the emotions for that people had were very different than they had when I played Amazing Grace, because they're connected to two different things. Notice that they both have lyrics, and so the lyrics actually direct what the intent of the music is. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play a piece of music that I'm pretty sure, unless you're a clarinet player, you've probably never heard this. As before in this example 3, it's an instrumental piece. Obviously a clarinet can't sing. I mean, it can sing, with a single melody, but there are no words to this. So just listen, write what you sense, hear, feel. How, if you get a picture, draw a picture. Okay, I'm going to play it slower than last time because I made mistakes. Here goes. Okay, it's the Cromer Clarinet Concerto, the first movement. How the piano, or the orchestra in this case, it's a concerto, is a piece for solo instrument with orchestral accompaniment. At the Holistic Wellness Weekend, I asked several people to write down what comes to your mind as you hear this music. And someone said, old. We all laughed. And then the person explained they're not a fan of classical music and they knew it was classical music. So my question is there something about classical music that has traumatized people? For example, me personally, there's certain forms of music I really don't like. And I'm not going to go into the reasons for that, but I might have a similar response to that particular music because of my experiences with that music. Let's say you had a trauma in life where someone was taking a piece of music and just blaring it constantly, and you just got really, really tired of it. You're going to take that piece of music and associate it with that incident. Which is why it's really impossible to tell anybody, use this music, use this frequency, do this for your healing process, because none of us who create healing music know where you are. We don't know what life traumas you've been through. And yes, they can say certain frequencies are healing, but most of those are in the much higher hearing, much higher range than our hearing can be, and they're usually aimed directly at your physical body. But when it comes to using audible music, like what I have here and that I was playing, really you're going to choose based on your emotions and what you feel is needed at that time. There is no right or wrong answer to healing music, what music is best. Always pay attention to the intent of the words. That'll tell you right there if there's music that is good and is maybe not so good. As you listen to music and you want it to be a healing process, you want to choose music that brings you joy, love, peace, a sense of relaxation, comfort, whatever you need at any given time. You can listen to that music and it will bring you to a place where you are entangling, coming into agreement with the intent of the music. When it's instrumental music, you're going to choose something that feels good to you at that time. And it may change the very next day, which is another reason I always suggest to people, have a variety of pieces of music that you can go back and forth between to use as you're feeling any given day. Again, music is a very emotional experience, and that's one of the ways that we can pair our intent with what the intent of the music is. If you don't know what the intent of the music is, then put your own intent to it. A lot of times you can tell what the intent is by the title of the music. So keep all of that in mind as you are choosing your own personal healing music. Now I'm going to also link below my playlist on the YouTube channel where I have, I think, 41 pieces of music that are healing music. And they're just very simple keyboard things that I've done over the years and put them up there for you to listen to. All the ads have been taken off the music, so thank God for that. So you can just play them in your house if you want, and or wherever, whatever you're doing. So again, as your system wants something healing, let your intuition tell you what it wants. We cannot solely go by what other people tell us is healing. You have to feel and sense it in your own system and know that it works for you. The other thing I have to say is people associate melodies a lot of times with a certain song. Now, most people don't know this, but a lot of the hymns that were sung in the 1800s and written in the 1900s were originally songs that were sung in a bar. And you're thinking, no, my favorite hymn might be a bar tune. So if you think about that, the intent of the song was changed by adjusting the words. The actual melody itself really has nothing to do with it. It has to do with your intention paired with the intent of the song. If it's lyrics, there's your intent. You come into agreement with those lyrics, and then you start releasing them over yourself. If it's instrumental, you choose your intent by how the music makes you feel, or by considering the title as well. So that's a quick synopsis of what we did in this presentation at the Holistic Wellness Weekend. Again, if you want that series, there's 17 teachings, I think, that were done over a period of 4 days, and it's for sale on the Healing Frequencies Music website. That link is below. And feel free at any time to save the playlist that I have for healing music. that you can just listen to at any time that you want, and it's free to you. Uh, and of course, I also have a lot of other healing music on the website, healingfrequenciesmusic.com. And if you go into the albums, onto the shop page and go under albums, I'll actually put a link to that as well underneath. You can read the descriptions of what I was seeing, sensing, hearing, and feeling during some of that. So in some ways, I've set the intention for some of the music, but you can change it to fit your specific desires as well. Hopefully that answered a lot of your questions about what healing music do you choose? Well, let your body, your spirit, your soul, and your body tell you what it wants.